Time to drive now. 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 Time to drive now
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now. Time to drive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Time to drive now. Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Hyperdrive now. Time to drive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Time to drive now. Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now. Hyperdrive now.
La isla.
Det här är ön.
Insel.
The island. Det är stenarna.
It's the ruts.
It's the heat.
Ah, cette chaleur incessante.
Den här ön måste bara vinna en gång.
Oh, no way, huge roll!
Tienes que ganar cada vez.
Oh, Munnings!
To conquer the island.
The island.
The island.
The island. The island.
Hello and welcome to Extreme E, where we're in Sardinia for the Island X-Prix. My name is Nikki Shields, and alongside me is commentator extraordinaire, Andrew Coley.
Thank you, Nikki. Looking forward to this. Extreme E is a sport with a purpose to race for the planet in the fight against climate change. And we're back in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea for the third time to revisit our legacy projects, where we've helped restore both land and sea after tragic environmental disasters.
Sunbaked Sardinia is also one of the toughest tracks in the calendar, but the fully electric Odyssey 21 SUVs are well prepared. Extreme E has raced on this course every year, which has produced some of the biggest moments in the championship history. Only the toughest competitors win in Sardinia.
Piloting these cutting-edge machines are 20 of the fastest off-road drivers on the planet, with a motorsport first driver pairing of one male and one female, equally competing together for all important championship points.
The championship is about more than just elite competition, though. The locations we race in are just as important as the races themselves. Our drivers and scientific community are always involved in legacy projects that directly help local communities in the regions we race in. Let's see where else the championship is going to be heading for season 3.
Well, of course, we started down in Saudi Arabia. Sand and rocks, the terrain down there. Veloce Racing took round one, round two. Double headers at every event this year.
Yeah, last time out we were in Scotland in the Highlands. It couldn't have been more different to where we're racing this weekend. Mud, rocks. It was the Hydro X-Prix, wins taken by X44 and Veloce Racing.
Sardinia this weekend, double header in Italy, the island in the Mediterranean. Rough, tough merges off the start, tricky conditions. And round 4, South America has been confirmed, so we're heading down to South America, the exact location TBC. It would be great to head to another new venue for this fantastic championship and see what track they have in store.
And then we will be finishing the championship on the 2nd and 3rd of December with a double header in Chile at the Antofagasta copper mine. Absolutely stunning scenery there.
Yeah, great stuff. Can't wait to round out another season with some more great racing. That was another wide track, plenty of sweeping points to overtake. And Sardinia this year a little bit more sweeping, a little bit faster, a bit smoother. Maybe a few more places to overtake. We're on round 6. If you saw round 5 yesterday, you'll know that everything was pretty bonkers come the end of the day. Everything fairly sensible towards the start. Look at that, absolutely
I was
stunning.
just thinking, it's a shame we can't go and take a dip in that water. It looks absolutely beautiful. But yeah, contrasting landscape from Scotland, that's for sure.
Very much. If you've missed any of the season so far, take a look at this.
Season 3 of Extreme E began on the picturesque shores of the Red Sea in Neom, Saudi Arabia.
Hammer down now, release the handbrake. Oh, into the water! Oh my God!
Everything okay?
Yes, it does.
No, not again! A third roll for Andretti. Alatia goes up the inside into the door. Runs the RXR wide.
After a brutal 2 days of racing, wins for Veloce and Acciona Sainz left them level at the top of the championship.
Vamos, Laya, que hemos ganado la carrera.
The scarred landscape of a former coal mine put the teams to the test when Scotland played host to the chaotic Hydro X-Prix, with round 3 immediately delivering the drama.
Contact to the roll. Absolutely huge crash. Timmy Hansen going to pass. McConnell pushes him out wide. And RXR off the side of the road. Johan Christopherson.
In the final, Andretti Altequila crossed the line first. But a post-race penalty spoiled the party.
We've got it, Chris. They got a 15.3-second penalty. Well done, well done.
Promoting X44 to the top step of the podium. Round 4 brought some of the worst weather conditions in the championship's history.
Oh, no! Look at Christopherson, full opposite lock. Tanner Fouch goes all the way around the outside in the Neon McLaren. That is a brilliant pass.
However, Veloce maintained their composure to take their second win of the season and reclaim the championship lead.
Top step of the podium for Kevin Hansen, Molly Taylor.
Round 5 saw a return to stunning Sardinia for the Island X Prix. Qualifying saw doors hanging off and the limits were pushed. After some great racing, it was Acciona Sainz who took the top spot. But after struggling in qualifying, championship leaders Veloce and reigning champions X44 would be battling it out in the redemption race.
You know, a hyperdrive for everybody except Backer, and it looks like, oh, contact straight off the start. The JBXE machine facing the wrong way.
Carnage off the start saw JBXE out of the action, with McLaren's door not far behind.
There it goes. Door off, flies up in the air.
X44 and McLaren battled hard for P2, but it was Veloce who showed their class to take the win in an incredible redemption race. But in the grand final, the best was yet to come.
This is going to be a big old funnel. Christopherson into the side of the App Cupra. 4 cars wide, 5 cars cannot go through there, surely. The RXR is going fully off-road, straight through the bushes on the outside of the track. Christopherson is in the bushes before the first waypoint.
It was a disaster at the start for RXR, but they never give up. Ab Cupra were the first to fall, before Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski set her sights on Katie Munnings.
Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski slides! Oh, Munnings!
And with the leaders Chip Ganassi picking up a penalty, RXR did the unthinkable.
A disaster at the start, and they come back to take the win in round 5.
An unbelievable performance to take the win. But with the competition more fierce than ever, it's all to play for in round 6. An unbelievable recovery drive for RXR yesterday, but let's look at the championship standings. Acciona Sainz, they've had 1 win and 2 second places so far this season, 90 points, 2 points ahead of Veloce Racing, so tight at the top. 10 points behind them is RXR Racing. Then 4th in the championship at the moment, GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi, X44 Vida Carbon in 5th, Neon McLaren down in 6th. And just 2 points behind on 40, Andretti Altequila. Then it's quite tight between Ab Cupra and Carl Cox. JBXE still struggling at the bottom there with only 16 points, looking to make a difference here today at round 6 in Sardinia to really get some championship points in the bag.
Great to see the teams re-prepping cars overnight, getting everything good to go.
Not quite as sunny as it was yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say less hot than it was. It was boiling hot yesterday, 39 degrees at the peak of the day. A little bit more overcast and a little bit of a breeze about. So you'd like to say somewhat easier conditions, wouldn't you?
Although they were still saying it's hot, I still think it's about 30 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, that'll do, won't it? That'll do.
It's not cold, that's for sure. It's just a little bit cooler.
So yeah, re-prepped and fully ready to go. Doors being closed, cars being washed down, new tyres going on. Everybody getting themselves set for another whole day of racing. Joe Ankia is reporting for us from the paddock this weekend.
So Acciona Sainz on top of the championship standings, and what a thrilling day it was yesterday, especially that grand final. Rosberg X Racing, top spot on the podium, second spot on the podium. I'll start with you, Michaela. Johan started off in the bushes. Can you even believe, has it sunk in yet, what you went through to come through in first? Talk to me about how it went and how you're feeling overall.
Yeah, I think, no one thought that we would take the win after that start. But Johan did a great drive, catching up with others and overtaking and, taking home the car in P3 for me and then handing it over and gave me some really good advices on, where to drive. It was really changing conditions out there on the track. So did the best we could. First of all, happy that Katie is all right after that roll. But then for us, for the team to be back on top step of the podium, that felt really good. But it's a new day today.
Indeed it is. And Matthias, you were TQ yesterday, top qualifier overall, and then of course second in the final, starting off with that grid position 1 that you weren't happy about. So how pleased are you overall?
Yeah, it's always nice to lead the championship, but everybody knows it doesn't matter much. It's like halftime in football. It's still a long way to go, but we had a good pace all over the weekend, so we got those 2 points for the traction sector yesterday, and yeah, hope we get a bit more votes for the grid play today so we can have a better starting position if we get to the final. So yeah, as always, anything can happen here, but we are ready for the day.
Okay, and it's halfway through the season now, so 2 points lead at the top of the table. What does that mean for you going into today?
Not much. It's very close, and I think we are 3 teams which are pretty close, but then the others are hunting just behind us. So it's still a long way to go, and I think you have to be humble all the way if you want to be winning the championship.
Okay, and Michaela, we know Rosberg X Racing love this course, so what's the focus for today?
No, just to keep on improving and coming to the final and do the best that we can.
Okay, well, these two may be first and third in the championship standings, but not too far behind them is Chip Ganassi in 4th, and young up-and-coming Amanda Sorensen has been doing absolutely fantastic. We're going to catch up and hear from Amanda ahead of round 6.
So taking a look back at Q1 earlier on today, 4 cars trying to head into the middle, look, and it's straight away. Fraser McConnell ended up off-road over the side where Kristoffersson went. He also managed to get back onto course. Tanner Faust got on a great scrap with RJ Anderson. Faust looked quick in the McLaren. Anderson was good though on the defensive drive. Look, holds on here, a little bit of contact between them. Out front though, Kristoffersson, look at that. The RXR machine looking super clean. Yesterday's winners put them back on the same performance we've seen before. This was Faust's best chance to get through. He got a little bit too sideways. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski took over in that familiar P1 position and just headed off into the distance out front. Battle behind continued between Sorensen and Emma Gilmore, taking different routes on the way through. But a win for RXR in the first session this morning. Great job by Kristoffersson and Arlen-Kotlinski. Fantastic clean drive. On to race 2. So on the far side of the grid, Timmy Hansen versus Kevin Hansen. Ekstrom in the mix there as well. And Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport. They get into a line nice and clean. It was Sebastian Loeb who tried to go the long way round but ended up at the back of the pack. Now Loeb then uses Inoa Hyperdrive to see if he can get past Ekstrom, but he couldn't. Ekstrom made this incredibly bumpy pass. Bumpy as in the road, only a tiny bump with Scheider. Managed to get past Scheider. Scheider then and Sebastian Loeb side by side. Scheider would not give the position up, held on. Top right of your screen, Kevin Hansen going around the outside of his brother Timmy Hansen. This was the only angle we've got it from. Look at this, he backs it into this turn 6, and comes out in front, turn 5, sorry, comes out a long way in front, runs over the dirt on the outside, gets back in for waypoint 6. Absolutely brilliant job by him. Leah Block just downing a flag, got the car rotate a little bit too much, but she's looking really comfortable in the car in the first qualifying session today. Great to see her joining Extreme E for the rest of the season alongside Timo Scheider at Carl Cox Motorsport. Up and over the finish line, Molly Taylor and Kevin Hansen taking the win for Veloce. Fantastic performance by them. Actually owned a science look in P3. There was Kevin. Very pleased indeed with that. Great run by the pair of them. They're in that championship fight.
So let's take a look at the results from qualifying 1, heat 1 and 2 there. Now remember, 10 points up for grabs for a win, but this is not championship points. This is to find out who goes through to the traction. Apologies, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat.
All good, Nick. Oh, don't worry about it. I got you. You're fine. We're heading down to Joe Ankia in the meantime, and we'll have a little catch up about the power in the paddock.
We're here in the paddock where there are so many innovative solutions helping to make Extreme E a carbon-neutral net zero event. Things like the Continental tyres, which are made of recycled materials, PET plastics, rice husks. The bodywork of the cars are made from flax seeds. We ship everything, the tents, the equipment, the cars, all around the world on our St. Helena ship. And even the crew and everyone here is invited to bring their own bowls, plates, cutleries, do their own washing up and save about 250,000 pieces of landfill a year. But there's also a very innovative set of solutions around the power on site. I'm joined by Craig, Head of Power and Logistics. Craig, give us a rundown of the smart energy power grid, how everything works here.
So we've been gathering data for the last 2 years to enable us this new smart system. Basically, the battery is the heart of the system, and in that we can feed multiple sources of green generation. So that's the solar panels you see here, and that's the hydrogen fuel cell in the background. Seamlessly, we can also feed in a backup system, and we've also got monitoring around the site, so we can actually gather more data to make the system more efficient. Data is the key part to this, and we knew this from the very beginning. So from season 1, we've been looking at all the data, and here it is today. This is a carbon-neutral system that is running the event site here in Sardinia.
And so tell us also about the Enoa hydrogen fuel cells that power the cars.
So the solar panels start off by producing the hydrogen, giving the energy to do that, and then the Enoa fuel cell then powers the cars through our power network. Everything's all monitored, so we can adjust the output of the fuel cell to match what's going out, so no fuel is wasted, and we make it as green as possible.
Fantastic stuff. And it's not just on-site where there are innovative, environmentally friendly solutions, but also off-site. I'm here in the paddock. Winds are picking up again today. I'm joined by Tanner Faust of McLaren, Katie Munnings of Andretti, 5th and 4th overall so far after Q1. I'll start with you, Tanner. No more doors flying off today, but 5th in the qualifying, which means the Continental Traction Challenge, all sorts of things very important. What will be your approach going into Q2?
I mean, this track, 80% of the race happens in the first 300 meters, so you just have to send it into lane 3. And hope for the best. And then after that, sort out, what has happened. So there are some good overtaking spots, I think, that are starting to present themselves. The track is getting watered quite a bit, which is helping with the dust. It makes it a bit of a mud race, but that's better than dust, honestly. So hopefully the racing is fun to watch, but for us, we just have to push from the beginning and get a good start. Well,
you seem to be improving race by race out here. Katie, you had that unfortunate crash yesterday, but you really came through today. We saw Timmy giving you some encouraging words at the switch. How much did that help get your confidence back?
Yeah, as Tanner said, the track's changing every condition, really. It's either dry or it's super wet, and obviously you don't know until you approach, so any piece of advice we could give each other in the pit makes a difference to our laps. But yeah, new day, new race. The team did an awesome job overnight fixing the car. Luckily there wasn't too much damage. It was just a really unfortunate incident yesterday. But yeah, as I say, we're happy with a P2 in our race heat there, and I know that we've got the pace to do something good today.
Okay, and just very quickly, 4th in the standings after Q1. So any kind of different approach? Now you're feeling more confident?
I mean, as Tanner said, anything can happen, and I think the start is really important here. So yeah, we're just going to try and do everything that we can to have a good launch off the line, and then yeah, see where we are. But also, it's only qualifying, so we kind of have to keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. Well, I wish the both of you the very best of luck. Well, Q2 Heat 1 is coming up shortly. It is bound to be a thriller.
Qualifying 2 starts now, 2 more races to decide who makes it through to the grand final and who will have to take part in the redemption race. Only points up for grabs there, no win of the event possible. This time round it is mostly the female drivers starting, so their male counterparts are in the command centre and they're looking like they're getting ready to go.
Yep, let's take a look at how the grid is going to line up. So over in lane 1, which is definitely the slowest lane for the start, is X44 with Christina Gutierrez. Alongside her for the Cupra Abs team is Clara Anderson. Neil McLaren, there we go. You can see Emma Gilmore lining up bang in the middle. Perfect spot for her. Andretti Altikilat with Katie Munnings and XR, Michaela Arlen Kotelinski.
Here we go then, a hyperdrive off the line. We've seen lots of people using it. Very serious looking face there for Emma Gilmore. I'm keen to see what Gutierrez does from lane number 1, because we know they can't take the start. If they take that separate lane, they'll be at the back of the pack, and they must win this encounter to make the final. Everybody uses it off the line immediately, and Gutierrez trying to come into the middle of the pack. She's alongside, ends up P5 anyway. So she decided not to go around the long way and ends up 5th in the train out front. It's Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski who gets the whole shot. Difficult to see with the sun reflecting off the cars. It looks like, yeah, it's Munnings in P2. It is Clara Anderson in P3.
Well, that's the first time we've seen that happen. All 5 cars vying for that middle lane. Didn't really pay off. I don't think X44 gained any extra time by doing that, just still shuffled to the back.
Gutierrez has got to make passes. I think the thing is she wanted to use the hyperdrive. I actually think she might have been best not to use the hyperdrive there, lose the start and come in. But their hope wasn't it, they were going to get the whole shot. So you understand why they've done it. I actually thought she got a good start, but it wasn't enough. Gilmore runs a bit deep, and the hood's up on the front of the McLaren as well. But Gutierrez not seemingly close enough to have a look. She now looks up the inside. Gutierrez alongside, gets into the side of Gilmore. Gilmore gets pushed sideways. They run up over those big rocks at the side of the road. Emma Gilmore can't see where she's going. Off to the side of the track, Gutierrez is up 1 place. Gilmore needs that bodywork off the car. They sit very low in the car, and the bodywork's up high. She cannot see where she's going.
Oh, that's going to be really tricky. But good defending there from, well, initially from Emma Gilmore. And
there you go, this is Emma Gilmore's view. Look at this, so you can see, imagine you're at roughly head height. You're barely seeing the tops of the flags, so she's really going to struggle with that. But Gutierrez, that's a great move. She's got Clara Anderson in front of her now. Anderson is a tough racer, so she's going to have to try and pass her on track as well if she possibly can. She's there, look, she's all over the back of her. Gutierrez is really pushing hard here. Coming up to the end of the first lap, remember, 2 laps for the first drivers, then we switch. And 2 laps for the second drivers as well, up and over that crest. Got to stay close to Clara Anderson. Look at her screen, it's filthy already. Gutierrez pitches it in. She's carrying loads of speed through here. Very, very aggressive drive. They must take strong points here. For me, if they don't win, it's probably not enough, but we'll see.
So there you can see the qualifying points on the left-hand side, so it could be a double win. Oh.
I thought she had something flew off one of the cars and she suddenly ran wide. But that's a mistake for Gutierrez and time lost. Mistake or a problem.
So potentially a double win for RXR, which would, of course, give them a total of 20 points in qualifying, but 2 valuable championship points, which they would take through into the grand final. But this is how it looks at the moment. So obviously anything can change. We've still got the switch zone coming up and the male drivers coming out.
Clara Anderson was really, really defensive in that last heavy braking zone. I don't know whether it was a mistake or whether she thought Gutierrez was closer, but she parked it on the apex in really tight. Back left of your screen is where the battle is. You look on board now from Anderson's car, looking back at the X44 Vita Carbon racing machine, which is getting thrashed by the gravel thrown up from the App Cupra car. RXR out front, Arlen Kotlinski with Munnings going with her. These two just, what's the gap? Said they're 7.9 seconds off the out in front of P3. The leader is about 6.5 seconds up to Katie Munnings from these two. Probably slowing each other down, racing each other, Nikki.
Yeah, and you can see again that visibility with the X44 car is just not ideal. But of course, as you mentioned to me earlier, Andrew, that you can only have a limited amount of water to clean your windscreen during the course of the race. And it's no good if whoever is out driving first uses up all the water, because you've got to think about your teammate who's then got to still complete 2 laps.
Yeah, especially when you're stuck in the pack. Munnings there, gained time on Arlen Kotlinski. Michaela made a mistake, got the car too sideways on the exit, and they are absolutely right with them. So this is going to be Johan Kristoffersen versus Timmy Hansen on the second lap. Oh, Gutierrez spins, almost goes all the way round, does get it into the switch zone. So has she got a problem with the car? Yeah, it's not, so it doesn't look hard to see, but it doesn't look like she's holding the steering straight. Rear left is off the car. Yeah, the rear left wheel that the car's crabbing badly. This is an absolute shocker for them. So running round, we want to see the X44 machine, if we can, into the car, gets Kristoffersen. That feedback will be in Swedish, and I'm afraid I don't speak Swedish, so that's a non-starter. It's very calm, isn't it?
Right, so you can see her wheeling out a spare wheel.
Look at this. She did well to hold on to that for as long as she did. When she jumped on the brakes, look.
That was well saved.
And a puncture on the Cupra as well, the front left. So that might be why Clara was so defensive on the brake. She maybe had the front left puncture already. So, okay, the one thing this is a big help, isn't it, for who's behind? Trying to think who came in P5. Timing screens is showing that it was McLaren. Yeah, it was McLaren coming in P5. So 2 cars are going to be out of their way. Where were they? They were in 5th overall in qualifying after Q1. So Emma Gilmore and Tanner Faust who's going to be taking over. I think Faust will get out before both of the other cars, but they were 15 seconds back. So if there was a problem with the car or not. They're using tear-offs on the windows. They might, that looked like they were pulling a piece of plastic off. You use that on visors. Bike riders, karters, motocross, all sorts of people use tear-offs, and you rip it off the visor to keep it clean. So maybe Apt Cooper have come up with a clever way of cleaning the side windows. That's a great idea if they have. So you put a plastic film on, when you come in, you rip that off, and the windows are clean then for the second driver. But it is Kristoffersson leading Hansen. Pit out, it says, for Apt Cooper. So have they managed to change the wheel on that car or not? Sebastian Loeb surely not going out with a puncture. We think they had a front left. And Neil McLaren leaving as well, whereas X44, I think, might well have to park that, I'm afraid. Broken rear suspension, Nicky, they're not going to fix it. They were P5 anyway in the previous session, so they're going to know they're in the redemption race, and Sardinia is going to be a weekend to forget for them, isn't it?
Oh, such a shame. You never quite know what challenges you're going to face coming into a weekend like that. But it's good to see.
My bad, sorry for interrupt. Gilmore, of course, do you remember that she couldn't see? I was trying to remember why she was 15 seconds back. They've taken the front bodywork off the car, either that or it's fallen off. So Faust is running with no front clamshell on the car. You were on board with Loeb there, seeing him on board with Loeb. Front left corner is up. Now that might be where the tyre was off the car and has damaged the bodywork. Look at that. So Loeb's view obstructed as well. But he's going quickly enough to be trying to keep up with Faust in front of him.
So really, it's looking like a very strong finish for Rosberg Racing and also Andretti Altequila as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much going to guarantee you a spot in the final, isn't it? Certainly, and for them as well, the other teams having a not ideal run. Looking at Apt Cooper. Oh no, Apt Cooper now moving up 1 spot. So where Apt Cooper have moved up 1 spot, their points have just updated. This is where you see, top left of your screen, 3 teams on 10 qualifying points. That's why it's so important to be fast in the Continental Traction Challenge. And a bit of an update for you on that. Unfortunately, McConnell had his time taken away because they accidentally used the a hyperdrive twice in 1 lap, which isn't allowed. And as I say that, Kristoffersson uses his broken car as well for McLaren. So McLaren have got broken suspension as well. Tanner Faust is hanging on to that. A proper funky angle. There it is, the rear right's gone almost identical, isn't it, to what happened to Gutierrez? And yeah, the toe link's broken, so there's a toe link that stops that wheel from steering and holds it at an angle. So probably top and bottom of the suspension are still there. With that link gone, that wheel is going to steer left and right, and that's an absolute nightmare for Tanner Faust.
And how difficult is it going to be to repair the car in time for the race?
Well, the problem for Tanner, I think more importantly, is that it looks like he's pitted the car. The timing screen said he had. I think, yeah, timing screen says he's gone in the pits. I don't think they'll make the grand final, and it was looking like they might with the problems other people were having. So this is a real one.
But they'll be able to get the car ready for the redemption race.
Yeah, it's literally the frustrating thing is it's quite a small part. It's 2 ball joints and a rod and a couple of bolts. But if it breaks, the wheel can point in any direction. So that's a real shame. To the other teams, Nicky, will have seen 2 breakages of that part in this race, and they'll all be changing those parts just because. They'll be thinking, OK, that must be taking a beating here in Sardinia. It's going to be a win for RXR. Kristoffersson crosses the line. They will be... they might... yeah, they could be beaten by Veloce. At the minute, they've got 20 points. So if Veloce were to win their race as well, they'd tie on 20. And top qualifier would come down to the Continental Traction Challenge. Andretti Altequila pick up P2. And Apt Cooper look like they're going to pick up P3 here, even with that puncture they had. They were 8th in qualifying before. We think they had a puncture. We think it was front left. So at the minute, Nicky, you see the points here. Apt are sitting in 4th, but with the scores that Chip Ganassi Racing and Acciona Science have got, I think they'll be lucky. If they'd need those 2 teams to have an absolute shocker to make it through. But good job to bring the car back with some issues.
Yeah, clearly having Nico Rosberg in the pit lane today is bringing RXR team a bit of good luck.
It is, yeah. I like the fact he said he was watching yesterday. Of course I was watching, I'm always watching. So, yeah, mental note, always be nice to Nico. But brilliant performance by them. This is where they were last year. You know, the start of the year for them has been tricky. Are McLaren trying to repair that? Yeah, Faust is still in the car. So they might be trying to repair that toe link. Okay, he's asking if he can get out of the car. And it looks like that might be game over. So there's the X44 car parked with the rear left off. Faust's car, I think, was the rear right. There's Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski coming back into the RXR paddock. Brilliant performance by them. Tanner Fausto looks like game over. Clara Anderson's teammate Loeb has just rolled in the background there, and we're going to have a catch up with Clara now in the command centre. Clara, you're looking boiling hot, and that was a bit of a battle again for you guys. What happened? I'm sorry.
Puncher in the front already after half a lap. Impossible. It doesn't matter how quick we are. We have a curse, and yeah, it's upsetting because we know what we can do, and Seb did a great job, and yeah, I'm happy that I managed to do the full second lap with the puncher, but it's game over.
What are you going to do to change your luck? I mean, just got to ride it out, have you?
Yeah, we can't really do much. I don't know where I got it from. I stayed in the lines, but yeah, it's also upsetting when the start grid is so different. We all know that P4 is the best one, and when we have a lottery to start the day, it sets the tone, and we've been last to choose both days, and then it's not easy.
All right, unlucky Clara, thank you, and we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the day. It'll change.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at the qualifying results. Second qualifying of the weekend, Heat 1. So it was a DNF for both X44 and McLaren. Ab Cupra there, despite disappointment, managed a P3. Then Andretti Altequila in P2. And RXR do it again this weekend with another win in their qualifying heat.
So with the qualifying session halfway through, this is how we stand. 10 points for RXR, that adds to the 10 from their Q1 run, so they're on 20. Hansen and Taylor for Veloce can equal them on points if they win that race in Q2.
Well, one driver who doesn't seem to be able to put a foot wrong at the moment is Johan Kristoffersson. Of course, he was the Extreme E champion, the inaugural champion back in 2021 for RXR. But look at that racing pedigree. 5-time World Rallycross champion. Unbelievable. Now, the legacy projects in Extreme E are so important. Let's find out what they're doing in Sardinia.
What we're seeing every day is a climate emergency that has been created from us as humans because of carbon emissions that are going into the atmosphere from industry, agriculture and transport. And this is creating the changes we're seeing on our planet. So these conditions created through climate change are the ideal conditions for wildfires to take off, and that's what we're seeing across the globe. In 2021, the Italian government estimated that Italy alone produced 320 megatons of carbon dioxide. So whilst this is a lot, globally, wildfires produced over 1,000 megatons of carbon dioxide emissions just in the month of August in 2021. Just in 1 month, that's 4 times the amount that Italy produced in the entire year. So not only do wildfires contribute to additional carbon dioxide in the environment, they also cause a decrease in habitat here in Sardinia. And this means that pollinators such as bees have got less habitat to live in. We're now entering a new crisis, the pollinator crisis. Over 37% of bee species across the globe are declining. And this has a fundamental impact on our food security, as plants need these bee pollinators to be able to produce the food that we eat. 75% of leading global crops depend on animal pollination, animals like bees. In fact, a world where we no longer had our pollinators, we would lose about 50% of all of our available fruit and vegetables that we rely on as humans. This is a really dire situation, and we need to do everything we can to avoid this happening. That's why this year, here in Sardinia, Extreme E is teaming up with the local NGO MedSea to replant trees and shrubs that are nectar-rich, which will allow the bees to thrive in this new environment and give them that ecosystem and food for the future. Reversing the damage done by climate change is vital for the survival of the planet. We know it, and we know that pollinators are one of the most critical aspects of our balanced ecosystem.
Command centre is locked and loaded, ready for Q2 race 2. Final race of qualifying from Sardinia, round 6. Kevin Hansen zip it up, everybody getting good to go, lids are going on, and we'll be racing very shortly, less than a minute, look.
Yeah, absolutely. So lining up on the grid, we've got Carl Cox Motorsport, JBXE, Acciona Sainz, who are our current championship leader, Hummer EV Chip Ganassi, and rounding out Veloce, with Molly Taylor behind the wheel.
So, female drivers mostly. The one team who flipped the strategy was Andreas Backerud for JBXE, and Backerud set the fastest lap in Q1 earlier on, so he needs a good start from slot number 2 to try and get ahead, and that is very much not guaranteed. Just a moment ago, Clara Anderson was saying we think slot 4 is best. That's what Kevin Hansen said yesterday. The Hummer EV Chip Ganassi racing machine of Amanda Sorensen is in slot number 4. Leah Block on the inside in lane 1. Where will they go? Tactically, that needs to be a clever choice. Everybody except Leah Block using the hyperdrive, which says to me she's going to go lane 1. She does. Molly Taylor coming across 3 cars wide. Taylor gets into that gap. Andreas Backerud hasn't been able to make that work, so Backerud is at the back of 4 drivers. Amanda Sorensen has got the brilliant start from slot number 4, so that looks like it is the one. Molly Taylor into P2. Whereabouts is Leah Block coming in on the merge? She's there, so she's going to come into P4, so Block gets in just ahead of Andreas Backerud. Backerud and Leah Block's father, Ken Block, used to race together in the World Rallycross Championship, so Andreas won't want to fire into Leah, but likewise he's going to try and find a way around her if he possibly can. But Leah Block was very quick in the previous session. I was really impressed by her. She's going past Molly Taylor, so Molly Taylor being passed by Leah Block. Has Taylor got a problem? That car looks like it, maybe not. Leah saved her in Noah Hyperdrive as well, so Leah Block makes a pass there on Molly Taylor. Backwards now got to do the same thing. Side by side up front, Sorensen is defensive on the inside line. Laia Sanz has gone out wide. Leah Block looks to the inside line. She's making moves here. Block's on the back of this pack of 3. Backward trying to go around the outside. Definitely a problem for the lot chain machine. It's all over the road. Surely there's an issue there. Andreas Backward gets up the inside of Molly Taylor. So Veloce, who was so strong, remember, they were the only people that could have denied RXR that top qualifier spot, and they look like they're having a problem.
This is a great result for Leah Block at the moment. You know, she had the lane 1, which is the toughest lane, and she's already into P3. She's
going now looking up around the outside of Laia Sanz. So Leah Block trying to go outside, inside on Laia Sanz. Can't quite get there, but he's right in behind her. Sorensen got such a brilliant start, but then somehow didn't manage to get away. I wonder if everybody else was a little bit held up by the issue for the Veloce machine. Look at Block sliding through that long left-hander. Lovely shot from the drone. Mud on the screen now, though. Molly Taylor's still there. It's so hard to tell what's gone wrong with their run. Something isn't quite right with the Veloce run. Can't put my finger on what it is from here.
Amanda Sorensen, though, having a nice clean run out in front for GMC Hummer EV Racing. They're doing really well this season. They've had 2 podiums in the last 2 races, sitting P4 in the championship at the moment. Really built their confidence, I think, over the course of this season. And we are now at the midway point.
Backerud is right in behind Leah Block. As I say, him and her father were teammates before. He's been described by the Block family as, like another member of the family. So, but it's a bit like Hansen on Hansen, isn't it? When you're out racing, you just got to get stuck in and get it done. There's that low down camera on the inside of waypoint 3. onto that back straight. Leah Block has still got her in Noah hyperdrive. She uses it now, so Leah Block with the extra power going to come up behind Laia Sands. Got to try and make this stick. Laia Sands looks to the inside. Laia Sands passes. Leah Block comes in hot as well. Block up the inside of Sorensen. Sorensen's going to have the inside for the next corner. Leah Block's got to flick that car back round, and she takes the position as well. Oh, Sorensen back up the inside. Side by side for the two American young female drivers. Oh, now Block drops back. Andreas Backrud gets through. Didn't quite go away. She goes from P2 back down to P4, and out front is Laia Sands, takes the lead for Acciona Science. It's all going off here.
Oh, that was fantastic. Brilliant recovery there for Sorensen. Managed to drop down to P4 but back up into P1. But Sands, I mean, it's been fantastic to watch her develop over the course of XC, you know, coming from a background of 2 wheels, now absolutely loving driving this all-electric SUV, and isn't she doing well?
She's doing brilliantly, absolutely fantastically. Leah Block's getting stuck into now trying to pass Andreas Backrud. Tables are turned there. Molly Taylor is right on the back of this pack, so Kevin Hansen's going to have some work to do when he takes over the car. Oh, look how wide Taylor and Block run in the background. Sorensen now side by side with Backrud. Backrud trying to come around the outside on the braking zone. Leah Block comes in hot on the brakes. Late on the brakes for everybody into the switch zone. This one is going to be an absolute melee on the way in and out. 5.7 seconds covering the 5 cars, and I couldn't be more impressed with what Block was doing in there, and likewise Sorensen, just some fantastic racing.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to see how evenly matched these guys are, you know, proper at the elite point in motorsport, all coming together, showing each other how competitive they can be, racing wheel to wheel. Obviously, you know, at their sort of hands, they've got this intensely powerful car, 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds. Let's have a listen. Was one of them just shouting on the brake?
Yeah, one of them shouting on the brake. Maybe the car was rolling and they were trying to do the belts up. It's pretty flat, so I wouldn't have thought so, but the car has to sit in neutral for the 45 seconds. Kevin Hansen looked very relaxed, plugs his comms lead in. Leah Block runs out of the switch zone. Everybody has to be out before you move. Timo Scheider's there. Chuck a bucket of water over the front. That again is so that you've got some effectively extra water. Sorensen's mechanics looking under the car. Timo Scheider gets released. The Carl Cox Motorsport machine heads out back on track. Sorensen's the Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing cars at a standstill. What's gone on with that? Kevin Hansen getting released late. They were P3 on the way in. You can see them stuck in the switch zone. So there's a problem with the GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. And in the background now, Kevin Hansen and Timo Scheider side by side. Matthias Ekström leads out. Hedda Hozos comes out now. She's in the JBXC machine. Remember, they're running the opposite strategy. Timo Scheider and Kevin Hansen right behind. 2 laps to go.
So JBXC took a different line to the Acciona Science team. Whether or not that's paid off, maybe not quite.
The Hummer EV was in P3 in the standings. This might play into the hands of the teams who've been having a bit of a shocker. Abt Cupra, remember, were P3 in the previous race. They were devastated, thought they weren't going to make it. There's a chance here the points might work out in their favour. You know, a hyperdrive's being deployed down that back straight now. Kevin Hansen looking for a way past Timo Scheider. He's going to go for the outside line, comes in hot on the brake, sticks it in the wet stuff. Is he going to run too deep? Back on the throttle now, going to try and go outside again. He does. That is fantastic. Kevin Hansen has made that move. Oh, bodywork coming off. Scheider back up the inside. Kevin runs into the rear and Scheider with a lovely block pass. Now the front of the Veloce machine's flying around everywhere. Absolute carnage here. Kevin Hansen, there is no way he can see through that. Look at this, he's looking at the top of the flags, trying to find his way through. Molly managed to bring that home. He'd be desperate for that piece of bodywork to come off the car, and it just won't. He's hanging on when he doesn't want it to.
Unbelievable. I mean, these guys must have X-ray vision. How on earth can they see through that? Phenomenal. The pure skill to be able to keep the car on track when your visibility is that poor. But obviously so much is riding on this for Veloce Racing. Yesterday, they only made it through to the redemption race. Yes, they won it, but
good.
There we go.
That's what he wants. Gone. Yes, yeah. Gone under the right rear wheel and got ripped off the car. That's exactly what Kevin wanted. Now look straight away. The attitude of the car changes. He can go back into attack mode. Continental Traction Challenge shows GMC Hummer at the top of the table. Look for Neil McLaren RXR. Abt Cupra down in 6th. It's going to be about where their points are at the end of this as to whether or not that makes a difference to the tie-break situation. 3 people still with their Inoa hyperdrives to deploy ahead of Hozos at the moment, where no, they're down, Abt Cupra are down too far. They're not going to make it. So Hummer's still in the pits, or are they out? They're 18 seconds back. They did get it out of the switch zone.
There's a lot riding on this JBXE position, though, because they're right on the bubble at the moment, so they can't drop back. They need to stay in P2 to make sure they get through into the grand final. So this is going to be touch and go for them, because it's looking close.
That is a really, really good point, Nikki. And Carl Cox Motorsport now, as you say, that Scheider deploys his Inoa hyperdrive and closes down the gap. Look, it was a couple of seconds between them, 1 second between them. What is it now? It's only half a second. Scheider with the nose of the car in the bushes. He's hunting down big time. Head of Hozos in front. Hozos tries to hold on. Scheider goes up the inside. It's a fairly aggressive move there. Hozos still side by side. She runs over the rocks on the outside of the track there. So he makes the pass. That would knock them down. Look, immediately they drop down into P7. There's 5 teams on 10 points, and that shows you how crucial the Continental Traction Challenge is as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it absolutely does. That's going to be absolutely gutting for JBXE at the moment. They really, really need this at the moment in the championship points. They're right down at the bottom. So to get through to the grand final, I think is absolutely critical for them. So close.
Hozos up the inside of Scheider. She's side by side, and she's got a great entry to the previous corner. Head of Hozos trying to make the pass back on Scheider. Scheider gets the power down in the end. Now she looks inside again. Hozos getting aggressive on Scheider. She's desperate to get that car through. And Shona Sainz take the win. Checker flag for them. Timo Scheider going to come across for Carl Cox Motorsport in P2. Header Hozos tried so hard to hold on to that, but it's P3 and heartbreak. They won't make it from that position. The Hummer EV Chip Ganassi racing machine is still on track. They're under investigation for speeding in the switch zone. They crossed the line in P4. So now Kevin Hansen for Veloce, a long way back.
That is gutting for Header Hozos and JBXE there, because they were so close to making it through to that grand
Veloce as well. They were having such a good run. Well, that was a wild old ride, wasn't it, for the end of qualifying? We're going to head down to the Vodafone Command Centre. Andreas Backerud for JBXE is down there. Andreas, that was quite the race, it really was. I mean, you were behind Leah Block, who's practically a member of family, and you know, you can't really smash into Leah, but yeah, you got in a great fight. She was driving brilliantly out there, and then poor Header, I thought she was going to get Timo back right at the end of the race. She drove so well in those last seconds, but it doesn't look like it's quite enough, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it was all in for us to win that start, and for some reason the reaction was great. Then the takeoff, we had too much wheel spin. Then following the group, it was hard. It was carnage all over the place, and very dusty in a couple of sections there. Leah did great. I mean, like, she's awesome coming into the championship. Brand new car, brand new team, brand new everything. She's killing it out there. And then swapping from P2 to Hedda. Hedda did a great job. I feel sorry for her, and I think Tim was a bit too hard into waypoint 6 there. I hope the stewards are going to investigate it, because he put both her and him outside the track. So I mean, that's a big push to pass. So hopefully we get back that P2. I think that's only the fair way to go, and then maybe, only maybe, we can put the JBXE back up in the final.
It's been a bit of a challenging season for JBXE so far. What do you think's missing at the moment? What are you looking for?
Well, we are the only team that haven't done any testing. I have done 8 laps in Saudi, getting into Scotland. You do 10 laps there, and you come down here, you do 10 laps more. It's not much of testing opportunities, to be honest, but it's the same for everyone. But every other driver have been here before, at least from the male perspective, other than RJ. It's hard. It's competitive championship, lots of new stuff, but I feel that we are getting close, but we need to sort the starts out, and starting from P2 is also very, very hard. So big up to all the girls that beat me to the line. They deserved, whoever won that heat deserved it.
Brilliant, thanks Andreas. Glad to see that things are coming together for the team.
It is warm down here, I can tell you that. It's probably a little bit better in the studio back home.
Oh yeah, we're enjoying the AC, that's for sure. Good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Right, let's take a look at the final results for that heat. So it was a 5th place finish, unfortunately, for Veloce Racing. Hummer EV Chip Ganassi in 4th, a 3rd, so close to 2nd, but it is a 3rd for JBXE. And what a commanding race there from Carl Cox Motorsport, finishing in 2nd. And then Acciona Sainz, our current championship leaders at the moment, a P1 for them in Heat 2. And of course, a valuable point.
Right, let's take a look at the standings at the end of qualifying. 10 points look for RXR twice. We'll see them as the top qualifiers because the other 2 heats were won by Acciona Sainz and won by Veloce. Here it is, overall, top qualifiers. P2 looks Acciona Sainz have made it, Andretti made it, Veloce have made it. So Veloce and Chip Ganassi Racing have made it. That shows you how important one really strong result is, because the other one can be a bit average, and they have made the cut. Right, let's take another look at this, because an awful lot happened. So on the right side of the grid, Veloce with a great start, right up there in P2, and then from then on, Molly Taylor just goes backwards. So she's in 2nd place here, look. Comes out of the merge later on in 2nd place as well. Fair bit of dust for the cars behind, so you can see they're struggling a little bit with visibility. But already losing a place, look, then coming through the bushes on the inside line. This is Leah Block, who's having a fantastic run, trying to get up past in front.
It's just brilliant how she's really got elbows out over the course of today. I think yesterday was a day for Leah Block settling into the groove, really having a bit of fun in the car, but today she's looking extra competitive.
Yeah, she is. In the background, you can see Backwood finally getting past Molly Taylor. So Taylor was having real problems now, dropped down a place. This is Laia Sands gets past Sorensen. Leah Block is so late on the brakes here, it's absolutely ridiculous. She manages to get alongside Sorensen, but Sorensen, look, is on the inside for the right-hander at waypoint 6. So she then gets a position back, but knocks the flag down in the process. There's just so much going on. This has got to be one of the closest races we've ever had.
I was just about to say, it's just brilliant, isn't it, to see how close the racing is. Just shows the top level caliber of these racing drivers. Proper wheel-to-wheel action.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Contact here again. Look, rear of the car coming off front. The car coming to this was, yeah, that was Kevin Hansen with the front clamshell getting damaged. He then couldn't see where he was going. That was flapping around, so it's after the switch.
Still don't know how he drove that car in a straight line. I mean, it really is phenomenal. The skill of these drivers is just so impressive.
Oh, absolutely.
JBXE there. This is where it gets really critical for them.
That's Timo Scheider passing ahead of Hozos, and it is, as we said, a forceful pass. And that's what Andreas Backrud was saying, I'm not sure about. Now, Timo, you know, he's up for a pass always. They've got to go for it. There's not that many places to get through, so he goes through. And this was Hozos having the best crack at coming back past him. Did brilliantly, but just couldn't quite make it stick. So unfortunately, she lost the position there, and it looks like JBXE won't make it through to the final. Great effort, though. Amazing, great stuff. And then look at the damage on the Veloce machine. Ekstrom, yeah, oh, he's loving it. Brilliant performance by him and Laia Sands. Oh, great big kiss on the cheek. Matthias is not normally that emotional. He's really, really stoked, isn't he?
Well, it's just going from strength to strength for them this weekend. You know, current championship leaders, and they've got another championship point in the bag with that win.
That you want that momentum, don't you? Want that championship momentum. They're really happy. They're fired up. They're ready for it.
Yeah, definitely got into their groove this weekend here in Sardinia. Of course, they've got a fair amount of experience here. Third time Extreme has returned to the track. Slightly smoother, slightly wider. But let's take a look at what's happened here with JBXE, the white and yellow car that we just saw.
Yeah, I think she had a puncture. So she either picked that up in the contact with Scheider or potentially not. Loads of work for Veloce to do that car, remember, in the championship fight. They've just scraped through to the final. Johan Kristoffersson, let's go and have a catch up with him.
Well, Johan, congratulations, another win for RXR, and you were running away with it there, 10 out of 10, and a couple of championship points.
Yeah, very good. I mean, 2 championship points today so far, so yeah, and obviously the car is working fantastic. The guys have done a good job since yesterday. We anticipated the track conditions as well quite well, so yeah, tried to push in the super sector a bit, but a bit too wet in waypoint 6. But all in all, Michaela did a great start, so happy to be in the final. So now I'll just go backstage and give myself some votes.
And talking of backstage, you've got Nico Rosberg here with you backstage, obviously bringing you a bit of extra luck, not that you need any more. Any words of advice from him, and also what would be your approach? Some great teams looking to be against you in this final.
Yeah, it's always great to have Nico on site, you know, and you know, you don't dare to do anything else than bring your A game when the boss is here.
Perfect. We wish you the very best of luck. Potentially another win for RXR.
Thank you.
What a
you know
legend.
What? Johan brings his A game everywhere he goes anyway, so he's playing up a bit. But it's interesting what he said about the Continental Traction Challenge. He just said straight away it was a little bit too wet at waypoint 6. We know it runs from 3 to 9, so he knows he can't attack enough to get the time done there. This is the dream team, so this is the individual times.
Right, okay, so look at that. So the fastest female is Molly Taylor, and the fastest male is Johan Kristoffersen. Interestingly, so they were the inaugural championship winners.
Yeah, they were.
Back in 2021.
Yeah,
so bringing back the old combination of Taylor and Kristoffersen. But Kristoffersen is such a fantastic driver, you know, the pedigree of him, 5-time World Rallycross champion, and working together there with Molly Taylor, who was that original championship winner.
Apt Cooper looking P2 on both of those as well, so great performance from that team. And yeah, top 4 female drivers right up there as well and in the mix. Great to see. Cars heading back into the paddock. Final bit of prep heading on now for the finals. Oh, coming up on our screens, we got a race control decision coming in. We're just hearing about this in our ears, and we're looking at the decision on screen right now. This is the move from Scheider on Hozos, and it's been deemed causing a collision with car 22, a drop of 1 position. That's going to change everything, because if I remember correctly, JBXE, if they were 1 position up, Nikki, they were going to make it through to the final.
Absolutely, they were completely on the bubble. They were going through into the redemption race, but with that penalty, that would put them through to the grand final. Let's take a look at how those points stack up. There we have it confirmed. JBXE, Bakker and Hossas have made it. That commanding drive from Hossas at the end there. They will be absolutely delighted with that.
It's at the cost of Veloce, Nikki. So Veloce, who are in that championship fight, were in the grand final, and now they're going to be knocked down into the redemption race. So, oh, what a shame.
What a shame, but they can afford it, unlike JBXE. So let's go down to...
We're going to hear from Christina Gutierrez about her fantastic competition that she's running for a very special helmet design for later in the season. Extreme E endeavours to go beyond just racing, a philosophy held by X44 Vida carbon driver Christina Gutierrez. Last week, Gutierrez paid a visit to a hospital in Spain to catch up with an initiative she launched, which sees children fighting cancer help design her new racing helmet, which will receive its debut at the 4th event of the season in South America.
The idea started because each year I make a new helmet, new design. My brother works in the hospital. I spoke with him about the idea to involve the kids in my design. The thing that I want to make in the beginning, it was a design like fighting for the climate change, showing the problems in the countries. I also said, please put a word or a phrase who represent for you your draw, no? And they make very special words. You can see the power of the word and the power of the draw, and it's really impressive how the kids can imagine, no? The first idea was to put only 1 draw, but when we saw the draws, it was impossible to select one. In total, it's 25 draws. Can you tell me the impact on the children during the activity?
This hospital is a home for our children. Some of them spent a long time here, months, some of them even years. So all these things, all the colors, and all the people that is here brightening up, and to have people like you here with your smile, with your ideas, it's absolutely beautiful for them. The impact will be huge, and we will always remember, I'm sure.
We know that we don't have the helmet, the real helmet, but we had an idea, and it was like make a little stickers of the draws, and the kids are putting all the stickers around the helmet, and it's like the helmet is going to be. The main thing in Extreme is not only the sporting part, it's the values. And for me to explain how extreme is extreme, and for example in which places I drove in the past or in the future, is very important because they imagine that his draws is getting around the world and traveling a lot, and they are very excited for that. This is only the beginning, and it's not only my helmet. For sure I want to involve the families, the kids. I know the story of many of them and they are very hard, so imagine how can I feel when I put my helmet on. For sure, I want to drive with all of them in my head, and all the energy that they had makes me more strong to try to win everything.
Fantastic initiative from Gutierrez there. On to grid play. So if you're new to Extreme E, this is where the drivers basically, those that have made the final, oh dear, Fraser McConnell very unhappy with the amount of votes they've received there, isn't he? Basically, if you don't make the grand final, if you're in the redemption race, you can donate your votes to another team. So a bit of tactics going on there.
It really pays off, doesn't it, to be good mates with another team, because then you will, you know, give over your stands to them. It makes a big difference, because obviously we know how critical the start of this race is when it comes to grid position. Yeah, you don't want to be in that slot number one, do you? Very much looking forward to seeing the final two races of the Sardinia weekend. We've got the redemption race and we've got the grand final coming up very shortly, so don't go anywhere. We are in Sardinia for round 6 of Extreme E 2023. Round 5 yesterday, the finals brought all the action, and we've got the finals coming up for you very soon. So redemption race and that final grand final. Round 6, we're just past the halfway point in the season. Sardinia hasn't disappointed in any of the 3 years we've been here, and it certainly hasn't disappointed this weekend either. My name is Andrew Coley. Nikki Shields is alongside me. We've got Joe Anke reporting from the paddock. Nikki, are you having fun? Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm slightly envious, though. Those beautiful scenes there of the Sardinian coastline. I want to jump into that Mediterranean Sea, and I hope one of the winners after today does exactly that. What a way to cool down. But I do love this track. It is so contrasting to the landscape that we saw last time out in Scotland. This is a much hardier compact surface. We've got rocks, bushes, riverbeds, ruts, you name it. There are plenty of challenges to keep our drivers on their toes. We've already seen plenty of action. Cars turned upside down. Obviously lots of wheel-to-wheel contact. I can't wait. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it has been a brilliant morning, hasn't it, for we saw RXR there, who won both their races earlier on today. Veloce won one of their races. You can see they picked up a fair bit of damage in another one, but they, you know, then the end of the day didn't quite go their way.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of lost
body
kit
yeah.
for the course of this weekend, and a few punches as well. So, of course, in Extreme E, the importance is the legacy programs that come in. And here in Sardinia, in previous years, Extremely supported projects including planting, but this time it's all about looking at the bee population.
So today we have the Legacy project here at the Island Express in Sardinia. We are currently at a bee farm learning about how the wildfires a few years back affected the whole bee environment.
We are here today in San Sperate in the Terra Antiga farm with the old generation of beekeepers that lost 30 million bees during the mega fire in Montiferru in 2021.
So obviously the wildfire had a massive impact on this area, but I think when many of us just hear wildfires and we just see the flames, but we don't really think of the big picture.
So here in Sardinia, Extreme E has partnered with MedSea again, and together they're replanting 0.5 hectare of nature-rich plants and shrubs and trees to create a forest that will support bees for the future.
I mean, I would say at least 60% of the people showing up were like, oh my God, I'm afraid of bees, this is gonna be torture.
I was quite nervous about this, Timmy especially, because he hates bees.
How often do you get stung? Often. Often, great.
It's part of your job, Timmy, just get on with it.
bringing the drivers to legacy is absolutely essential because they can hear about it, but when you see them actually getting involved, it creates that real meaningful moment between the drivers and what we're trying to emphasize as a championship.
I've never been that close to a beehive before, but I think you feel super protected in the suit, and then you can have a good look and try and find the queen bee. And if there's a queen bee, it means the hive is healthy.
It's nice to see how docile they can be. You know, once the smoke is there and the bees, I think, are kind of used to the interruption.
So Nectarifluous Forest, of course, it's not only planting trees, but planting the good trees that belong to the area, first of all, and also the density of the forest itself. You will have a number of plants that integrate together and also create the perfect condition for insects and other forms of life.
I think the thing to remember about bees is they're important to all of us. They're pollinators. So really, without pollinators, we would be suffering from an absolute food crisis. But not only do they provide us with our food, it also provides with all the biodiversity, everything that other animals and ecosystems need to thrive and to mitigate some of these consequences of climate change. It's incredible that Extreme E does stuff like this, you know, stuff that I would never think to do. And also I think it's so nice that during these legacy projects, we learn about so many things that I don't think we would have learned outside of Extreme E, and it all just comes together in the fight of climate change.
Well, here in the pit lane, joined by Timo Scheider of Carl Cox's team, getting ready for the redemption race. Now, the redemption race is when the bottom 5 from the qualifying races earlier head into that redemption race for some all-important championship points. The top 5, of course, go into the grand final. Now, Timo, just a quick recap on that qualifying race, Q2. It was a thrilling race. Leah Block, she raced her heart out, overtaking veterans, you overtaking Eda Hoses. Was it as nerve-wracking for you all down there as it was for us?
To be honest, I just enjoyed that much the racing we have done before. It was amazing. Leah did great. She had a great getaway. We took a different route at the start. We decided before already just to take no risk, to go all to the same line. It paid out, and then she had amazing pace. She was really on the bumper of all the others, closed up the gap to the guys in front. So, and in the end, I had some good overtaking, some good things with Kevin and with Molly, with Hedda as well, right? So it was pretty good. We catched up some speed from yesterday to today. So the car is way better than yesterday. We are quite happy, at least with the pace we've had. Of course, we would have loved to go straight to the final, but we got a penalty. Leah hit a gate earlier in Q1, but you know, this is the learning curve, and you know, we are here to learn as much as possible, and the pure speed is there. I think that's the most important.
Okay, well, best of luck in that redemption race. Championship points up for grabs. Also, that overtaking of Hedda Hoses from Timo there was a rather aggressive overtake, and it did cost some penalty points, which actually meant that Veloce did not make the final. We originally thought Veloce were going to make the final, but those penalty points meant that JBXE got promoted into that final spot. So I'm in the Veloce garage. We've got Molly Taylor with us. We were just hearing about how you were unfortunately demoted into the redemption race because of those penalty points. What were your feelings around that, emotions?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty disappointed. We had a bunch of issues in that race, so it wasn't great for us. But then also, yeah, some interesting penalties as well, which then just threw everything else into the mix. So, yeah, we're full focus on getting the points we can in this race, and yeah, it's obviously not where we want to be, and especially particularly after the pace that we have and the results we had this morning. You know, we should be right up the front. But anyway, we will do our best to be up the front of this one.
Well, of course, you came into this weekend as championship leaders, but you won the redemption race yesterday, so does that give you some confidence that you can do it again?
I mean, yeah, we got full confidence that we can do it. You know, we can see that on the times that, you know, we've got the pace, we've got the car, we've got the team. So you know, it's sometimes doesn't go your way, but it's not like everything's over. So there's still a lot to focus on, and we're still fighting.
Okay, well, everything is heating up here, down in the pits. The cars are getting ready, the heat is building up, and we are going to see a fantastic redemption race coming up shortly.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the island.
X3. The redemption race is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
2 races left here in Sardinia. The redemption race up first. These teams will all be a little bit disappointed they didn't make it through to the final, particularly Veloce, who are in that championship fight. But there are crucial championship points up for grabs. They want to get as many of them as they possibly can.
Absolutely. This is what it all boils down to. The practice over the course of the whole week, looking at what they've learned yesterday. Yesterday's race as well is going to play into today's race. Let's take a look at how the drivers are going to line up on the grid. So lane 1, which when you look at the grid is the one on the right-hand side. Carl Cox Motorsport there with Timo Scheider behind the wheel. Lane 2, X44 with Fraser McConnell. Lane 3 in the middle, the favoured lane, Ab Cupra with Sebastian Loeb, who's back in the driving seat this weekend. Lane 4, Neon McLaren with Tanner Faust. And over in lane 5, Veloce with Kevin Hansen.
1 minute on the line, please.
A minute to go for these drivers. In our hyperdrive, remember, most of them have used it off the start line to try and gain that advantage. From lane 1, it's so tricky to try and get back to the middle of the grid.
It is. What's really interesting is obviously we've seen X44 and Veloce both end up being pushed into the bushes. X44, it didn't work out for them, but for Veloce, they managed to win their race. Unbelievable. What a way to, find a bit of redemption in today's redemption race.
So Carl Cox Motorsports, Timo Scheider, will he go for the safe route and go down that left-hand side and try and find himself a bit of space? I suspect everybody else is just going to bundle in towards lane number 3.
We saw 5 drivers go into lane number 3 this morning, so it might happen again.
They tried it yesterday and it didn't work out. We know that. Here's Tanner Faust, Sebastian Loeb next to him, Kevin Hansen on his outside, the gritted teeth, full focus on the lights. We're ready for this one. Everyone knows 3, 4 people. Scheider's not used his hyperdrive. Scheider going out to the outside lane. He's going to try and make that work. A little bit of a tag contact there on the back as Sebastian Loeb gets the whole shot, though, comes in. Somebody's gone off to the right-hand side. It's Tanner Faust has gone over to the right-hand side, trying to get himself out of the melee. Oh, big kicker there. That bump's come up, hasn't it? McConnell over that, and behind him, Kevin Hansen. So Faust going to slot in with a big jump in the McLaren. Comes in. Oh, Scheider's alongside him. Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport. Nicks P4 off Tanner Faust. Faust took that alternate line. But Ab Cooper out front. Sebastian Loeb with the whole shot.
Oh, what a brilliant start there. And obviously, Timo Scheider, he was pushed out from being in the grand final. So he really is looking for some redemption here because he got that penalty for the contact earlier in the day with Heda Hossas. So this is going to be his opportunity to try and bring some points home from the redemption race.
He comes in super sideways in the background now. Scheider has held on to that in our hyperdrive. And we know he didn't use it off the start. There's no point. When you know you're going to lose the start, don't use the hyperdrive away from it. So he's kept it, and he might try and use it down one of these back straights, or potentially save it for lap 2. He'll want to be as close as possible to Kevin Hansen if he can. It's pretty fun out front, I think, to see Sebastian Loeb, who used to drive for X44, is being hustled by the car he sat in last year. Fraser McConnell right with him. Kevin Hansen there too. Anybody makes a mistake, they're going to get eaten alive by the cars behind. There are 3 seconds between the top 5.
It's great to see Ab Cooper out in front, though, because they've really struggled over the course of this season. Down P8 in the championship
McLaren
at the moment.
on the inside, Nicky. That's a pass by Tanner Faust on the inside of Scheider, so Scheider goes back a place.
Brilliant move there from Tanner Faust. Again, such an experienced driver, just showing everyone else who's boss. He struggled a little bit earlier in the qualifying heats.
Oh, McConnell coming in hot, very sideways, dips the wheel off almost into the ditch on the outside. Pretty sure that's the corner yesterday where Katie Munnings rolled. It is, yeah, so he did well to hold on to that through the left now, getting bounced around. It's just given Loeb a tiny bit of breathing space, but when you're talking breathing space being 1 second, it's no time to relax, certainly. On board now with the X44 machine of Fraser McConnell.
Little bit of a gap forming now between Carl Cox Motorsport and the rest of the gang. 4 seconds there. Neon McLaren again also dropped back a little bit from Hansen in front in 3rd.
Tanner Faust now onto the back of Kevin Hansen. There is a bit of a gap between Kevin and Fraser McConnell in front of him. Here's the onboard again. Look at that. When you see the communications cable bouncing around, you get an idea of just what's going on. Faust sticking the nose of the car almost through the hedge on the inside line. Tanner is really attacking here. Going to want to keep that pressure on Kevin. There's where all the drivers are running out and actually running it up the bank on the outside of the course.
I love this graphic. You know, you can really see how hard and how fast these guys are driving. This is such an epic car. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds. Not what you would expect from an all-electric SUV. That instant torque means you get the instant acceleration, and you really get to enjoy that off the start of the race.
Oh, look at the kicker there. Now the ruts are really starting to develop. It's just making this course properly three-dimensional. We were on board with Tanner Faust a second ago, and you saw him gritting his teeth and hanging on to it. They're coming around to waypoint number 12. This is over now and into the switch zone as late as you dare to go on the brakes. Sebastian Loeb bringing Abt Cupra in P1. McConnell comes in for X44 Vita Carbon Racing in P2. Faust is right on the back of the Veloce, so Kevin Hansen will hand over to Molly Taylor. Tanner Faust will hand over to Emma Gilmore, and that is how close they should leave the switch zone together. Scheider never used his hyperdrive, and he's 20 seconds off the back in the Carl Cox Motorsport machine. So look at the contact between Faust. Faust there got squeezed. He made a late decision to go right, didn't he? After being sandwiched from both sides. Pulled out of that, actually did well. If he decided to go right earlier, he might have been had to punch up a Carl Cox. Just saw a split second there of Scheider coming in. That's a shame for them. They'll have to change that before they send Leah Block out, I think. They will. Out comes the jack. Look at the height of the insert they got on the jack there. That's because the ride height in these cars is so high. They might actually struggle to get that under there with the rear tyre down. I think using Teros again. Sorry, that was Teros again on the Abt Cupra. They're using Teros on the side windows. The other teams will be all over that.
Smart, yeah. They've got the advantage for this race weekend, but it won't.
No, that'll be spotted. That will have been spotted, yeah.
But we always talk about the switch. You know, it's kind of a simple, calm part of the race, but it's also absolutely critical. And this is when mistakes can be made. You know, we've seen so often this is when penalties can be given if you don't brake down to the slower speed in time, or perhaps there's early release, and it can come down to literally tenths of a second. So it's crucial the team don't make any mistakes and give away silly penalties.
Clara Anderson boots it out of the switch zone, and right behind her is Christina Gutierrez, last year's champion, remember, with X44 alongside Loeb. Loeb now her competitor with Anderson, and you can see split lanes as well for Veloce and McLaren as they make chase. So Emma Gilmore heading off to the right-hand side. She's going to jump back into the course, and in front of her is Molly Taylor. Looks like Taylor was on the slightly quicker line, I reckon. You've got to try something at the start. You've got to try it. They've all got their Renault hyperdrives left, remember, for these second 2 laps.
Brilliant. So we could see a nice little battle between Abt Cupra and X44 there. Managing to get a slight advantage compared to the rest of the pack. It's interesting to see how the condition of the track has changed as well. You know, the drivers always say they don't know what they're going to expect when they come out. So actually a little bit of intel from their teammate beforehand during the switch is really, really useful. We've seen it change from dry to wet and then back to dry over the course of the day.
And the bumps as well. You know, when you look in the background, you can see that last right-hander. There's a really severe bump on the inside. Anywhere where you're maybe getting a bit more of a kick than you were. Molly Taylor for Veloce is closing that gap down. She's 1.5. I say that she loses 0.3. She's 1.5 down now on Gutierrez. Gutierrez is only 2.1 off the back of Clara Anderson. And when you see it visually, it doesn't look like 3 seconds between them, does it? They're so close together. Anybody going to use that Innova hyperdrive? Oh, she's heading right off to the left-hand side. Gutierrez is using dry parts, and she hits the flag. Gutierrez used a dry piece of track to try and hit the flag. If it stays up, she'll get away with it, but I wonder if she's knocked that down. There's a flag down there as well, which she's just driven over. That's at waypoint 12. So somebody else has taken a flag down already. Nothing on our timing screens to tell us who. Carl Cox Motorsport under investigation for, okay, number 44, Gutierrez, but that's for 12. But I think she's knocked another one down prior to that. 12 was already down.
Sebastian Loeb there, watching intently at his teammates, doing a fantastic job at the moment. Keeping it on track, trying to keep cool. Oh, but it looks intense behind the steering wheel of that Odyssey 21.
It really does. I'm so pleased for Clara Anderson. A couple of years ago, she was racing a BMW brilliantly in the Swedish Rallycross Championship, beating all the guys to win her title. and just 2 years later, she's now got a couple of years of the World Rallycross Championship under her belt. She's, you know, a full-time driver in Extreme E. Everybody activated there are Noah hyperdrives, and she's doing a fantastic job here. You know, she never would have dreamed that she would have been teaming up with Sebastian Loeb just 2 years ago, racing a local championship in Sweden. And that's why this series is so important for the female racers.
Yeah, it really has been. And as we've seen earlier with some of the lap times, you know, the women are faster than the men, which is just so brilliant to see.
Their speed,
there
was a study done this year, and their speed has come on by more than 30% compared to the previous seasons. But yeah, they're working with their counterparts. They're coming up against very quick drivers, and they're raising their games, and it's great to see. The hole on the way into turn 6 is massive.
There's also a lot of rocks out there to look out for, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've also seen so many punches over the course of today. Right, okay, so we are coming towards the end of the redemption race. Who is it that can take some valuable points? The maximum valuable points available for them is 8 in this redemption race. Could be Ab Cupra, absolutely critical for them. They're currently only 8th in the championship at the moment. And there we have it. Clara Anderson crossing the finish line. Fantastic result for Ab Cupra, Anderson and Sebastian Loeb. Followed by Veloce Racing, X44 and Neon McLaren.
Great job by Clara Anderson. Her and her teammate Sebastian Loeb take the win for Ab Cupra in the redemption race. We've got one race left to come from Sardinia. Emma Gilmore on board the McLaren. Disappointment for some of these guys that have wanted better results than that. They were 40 back, of course, and then Carl Cox Motorsport coming in hot. Leah Block, look, is Leah going to carry on? She was a lap down, so I would, if I were her, yes, go for it. And I'll tell you why, because she's had so little time in the car, Nikki. This is another lap she can do. I'd do it anyway, even if they said you're going to get a penalty for it. I'd stay out on course. Why not? We're going to have a catch-up with Sebastian Loeb, who is just won the redemption race with his teammate Clara Anderson for Ab Cupra. Sebastian, back in the series here. Great job by you and by Clara. I know you would have wanted to be in the grand final, but that's the maximum points you can get from this one. It's a job well done.
Yes, finally, it's a victory in a race. It was a difficult weekend for us. We were really unlucky on the draw. So we both, yesterday and today, picked up the last place on the grid. So it's really difficult from this moment to try to reach the final. So today we couldn't reach the final. So we did what we could, and we fight it hard in this resumption race. And finally we win it. So it's a little consolation for the team.
You had an absolutely fantastic start, Sebastian. Do you think that's where this race was won?
Yes, like every race you see that it's really linked to the start. So I tried to be aggressive on the start, try to make my place. It worked this time. So yes, from that point I just tried to keep concentrated, to keep a good rhythm, and to give the car to Clara in a good condition. So it's what we did. She did a great job after. A perfect race, so no mistake, no flags, nothing. So we are really happy to finish the weekend like this, even if it's not what we expected when we started the weekend.
Well, it's great to see you back in Extreme E. Sebastian, wishing you the best of luck with the rest of your season in World Rallycross, and I hope we might see you back in Extreme E again. Take care. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Sebastian normally, of course, competing against Clara Anderson in the FA World Rallycross Championship and working with her this weekend. As you see Clara climbing out of the Ab Cupra car. We saw a few shots as well of Leah Block. Yeah, that's it. Good.
I want to see her reaction. You know? There's a smile on her face. Fantastic. That's what we wanted to see.
And Leah Block completing her first weekend in Extreme E. Fantastic job by her. Been really impressed by her pace.
So here we have it, the redemption race results. So Carl Cox Motorsport runners up there in fifth position. Faustin Gilmar missing out with a P4. In third, it was X44. But rounding out the top two, Veloce Racing in P2. And a win for Sebastian Loeb and Clara Anderson in P1. One team in the paddock combines motorsport royalty with the next generation of talent. But it's not just behind the wheel of the car that makes them such an exciting proposition. The electric partnership between Abd and Cupra has been central to Extreme E since day one.
For us, motorsport is very important and was always important. It's part of our DNA, and since over 70 years we are doing now motorsport, and 2.5 years now in Extreme E. We started to build electric cars for the German Post, so we had already some experience in electromobility, and it was clear also for us to go together with Cupra in Extreme E.
Electrification at Cupra is important because it is the future. Racing is in Cupra's DNA. The fact that Extreme E was proposing going to extreme locations, extreme temperatures, extreme terrains, that was really appealing and posing us a big challenge.
If you see the racing in Extreme E, you also need some luck. No contacts, you need a good start, you need a good first corner. In general, we have a competitive package with the team, with both drivers, so normally we can also fight for podiums and for victories.
For me, just having that support from the team, you know, they always treated me as a good driver. They treat me and Nasser the same. We're out there doing the work, and without both of us performing, we won't win.
Clara is a star already, and Nasser is a legend in motorsports.
I think is a big part of the team behind the driver, you know. Always we are trying to do something different from the other team and to be always the best in the track. The relation is really very strong and everything is simple inside the team.
So the pair was a dream come true to start the season. In Sardinia, unfortunately, Nasser will not be with us, and instead we'll have Södler, so I can wait.
It's a good team, and it's a long time I was not here in Extreme E, and so I had this opportunity to come back for a one shot like this in Sardinia. It's a place I enjoyed last years. I know Clara is a really good driver too. Hopefully we can do a good race.
Cupra is a very young, sporty manufacturer with a lot of power, with a lot of motivation. So Abt and Cupra are fitting quite well together.
We see Cupra now evolving the electricity with the road cars. For example, I drive a Cupra Born and has been driving that for almost a year now. And
a lot of what we learn in Extreme E, we can then apply to our road cars.
The refinement, the tuning is our main business. To put more horsepower, to put aerodynamic parts, to make cars much more individual.
We all want the same thing. We want to succeed here, but also on the roads.
We're here ahead of the grand final. I've got with me two legendary team owners, Michael Andretti from Andretti Alta Kiewat, and of course Nico Rosberg of Rosberg X Racing. Well, both teams making it into the final. I'll start with you first, Nico. First of all, you seem to be a great omen for your team. TQ again, double points and back into contention for the championship. What does it mean to you ahead of this final?
Yeah, just a legendary team owner. I mean, for Michael definitely, but for me, I think give me a few more years. But anyways, thank you for mentioning that. And then, no, it's great to be here. I mean, it's super thrilling. Very proud to win yesterday, the final. It was our first win of the season. And then had some close battles this morning already with Team Andretti, and now final coming up, yeah, which is going to be insane again.
And we're halfway through the season, of course. How important is this final going to be? You've seen how well the team can do. It's just about execution now.
It's super important. I mean, we've got the main championship rival, one of them out, actually. So that definitely helps. Not that one wishes that for them, but it helps us. And the other one, though, starting in the best grid slot, which is grid slot 5. So I'm looking at the watering truck there, and I hope they put a lot of puddles into grid slot 5. Yeah, so it's not going to be an easy race because we're not starting in the right place.
Okay, I'll talk to your rival here now, Michael. Big points here could help reboot Andretti's season. What are your emotions around that?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. You know, I think right now we've had some tough luck in the first few events, so to be able to make the final the last 2 days is pretty big for us. So we got to just hopefully have a good day and you know, finish it off. We were in a good position yesterday, but we didn't quite get there, so hopefully we can do it today.
Okay, and also incredibly proud you must be, especially of Katie Munnings coming back after that crash yesterday. Well, the grand final coming up shortly. It is certainly going to be a thrilling race, and these two will be side by side watching it all happen.
The island.
Here we go then, grand final time from round 6 of Extreme E. 1 race left to go in Sardinia, 2 hardcore days of racing under pretty intense heat, and there's been some pretty intense action out on track as well. One little roll for Katie Munnings, but plenty of contact in those merges and as people try and make their way past out on the track. Going to be fantastic, so stay with us. We're going to go down and catch up with Laia Sands, who's driving for Acciona Science with Matthias Ekström ahead of this one. Laia, you're getting ready to head out for the last race of the weekend. It went really well for you guys yesterday with P2, but I know you'll want to be going one better today. What's the plan?
The plan is to start, to do a good start, and you know, here in this track is so important, and then you know, also not do big mistakes, because I think we can fight for the championship. So our goal is, of course, if we can, to win.
Laia, you're starting from lane 5 though. It's not going to be hugely easy to do that. What's the strategy for the start?
You never know, but of course I think we have a good start position, so we will try to use the good grip. It seems to be there, and starting the front is, of course, it would be the best plan.
Okay, well, we'll wish you the very best of luck. I'm sure you're feeling all nervous and charged up. So yeah, go and get yourself ready to race, and we look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you.
Great stuff. You know, don't you, that the last thing they want to do probably is talk to us guys.
This is going to be an intense final. 3 podium finishes in this grand final.
Yeah. 4 of the 5 cars that were in the final yesterday.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. The grand final is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Here we go then. As we just said, 4 of the 5 teams from round 5 are in this final. They know what they're up against. They know what happened on the run to that merge at the very start of the race yesterday. 5 into 1 does not go. They still tried it, and the car that came out P5 parked in the trees managed to win the race. We had a roll for Andretti and out to Keelit. We've got JBXE in there. They haven't made a final so far this year. In fact, the last time they made a final was last year in Sardinia when they got a P3, but that was with a different driver lineup.
So let's take a look at the grid positions. So Hedda Hossas, the only female in this grand final to start things off. JBXE in lane 1 over on the right-hand side is the way we look at it. RXR in lane 2 with Kristoffersen behind the wheel. Andretti in the middle lane, the ideal lane there. In lane 4, Chip Ganassi Hummer with RJ Anderson behind the wheel. And over on the left-hand side is Acciona Science with Matthias Ekström behind the wheel.
We're all still looking pretty chilled right now. That red light over at the side will turn white, and that will be their indication that they are about to start. Kristoffersen's got the wipers on already. The wipers, they put them on early in case they get caught in the dirt. You can see Hansen's got the same trick on. These guys know what they're up to. Now they're looking at the white light, just a few seconds to go, and we'll be launching the last race from Sardinia down towards that narrow funnel. Away from the line, then Hedda Hossas on the far side. He's going to come and try and get into the middle of the pack. She drops in across the back, 3 wide. Kristoffersen drops out, but this time he ended up in the bushes yesterday. This time it's Timmy Hansen who goes off-roading, and Kristoffersen comes from the back of the pack to the lead. How has he done that? He was in P4. 2 cars went off the side of the road, and he comes through to take the whole shot. Hedda Hossas has got herself up to P4, having gone a different route on the run down. She saved her in Noah Hyperdrive. It's Matthias Ekström who is right in behind Kristoffersen. These two have raced each other so hard, so many times in the World Rallycross Championship. This will be a thriller, and they've got to watch out because RJ Anderson's not far behind either.
That's a really interesting start from Hedda Hossas, not what we were expecting at all. Instead of going off to what is our left, she took the right-hand lane instead, managing to come out in P4, which is not bad considering she was starting from the worst lane possible. But wow, what a start for Kristoffersen. RXR, they just are on flying form at the moment.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, Nick. He gave the start up when he realised what was going to happen was going to be the same as yesterday. It was Timmy Hansen who ended up getting nerfed off the side of the track, this time for Andretti out to Keelit. You can see Hedda Hossas is right behind Timmy. She needs to go with him, latch onto the back of him, go with his pace, maybe try and have a crack at him using the Noah Hyperdrive and hand that car over to Backroad to see what Backroad can do from there. So they're the only team that's gone with that reverse tactic. Meanwhile, Ekstrom desperately trying to get past Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson passed him yesterday. He'll want to pass him back today.
I mean, Kristoffersson, though, if we look at the results from him over the course of this weekend, obviously they won yesterday's race. They're third in the championship. They've also won 2 of their qualifying heats. So really, they are just on top form at the moment here in Sardinia.
Well, of course, if they win the race today, if they win this grand final, they've won all 3 races they've taken part in today, it would be an absolutely perfect day. But you can see how close it is across the top 3. There is 3.1 seconds between them. Hansen is a further 3 seconds back after running off the side of the track, but as we said yesterday, that didn't stop RXR, and there's no reason to think Andretti Autokila can't come back from there with a bit of luck going their way.
So Mattias Ekstrom there closing the gap, just 8 tenths between him and the RXR car in front.
2.5 seconds now covering the top 3, so the gap between the top 3's come down, and the gap between them and Andretti Autokila is coming down as well. Hansen and Munnings need this not to start getting stuck into each other. That would allow them then to close the gap down a bit, and as I say that, Ekstrom is right in the mirrors of Kristoffersson, puts the car out to the right, then out to the left. He wants Johan to look in the mirrors, now looking to the inside line. We've seen plenty of passes up here. Ekstrom goes late on the brakes, but Kristoffersson knows, and look, he's nailed it onto that inside line, and he runs into the back corner, just gives him a little nudge. Watch the bumps here, particularly on the way in, just here. Look how deep that rut is now, and RJ Anderson's closing them down. Kristoffersson's got defensive. Now Anderson will attack from behind, and that might help Kristoffersson out. Going to look to try and pass Ekstrom.
Yeah, Anderson is now putting on some serious pressure to the Accio Nissan's team, that red and black car in front. So actually, I think their eye has been taken off the ball, not so much the focus on Kristoffersson, but now he's looking in his wing mirrors.
Yeah, that's what Kristoffersson wants, isn't it? He's going to be very grateful for RJ Anderson getting stuck into the back. Here they are, super close between them, 2.4 seconds. Timmy Hansen, look, is only 3 seconds back. Hedda Hozos is about 10. No, she's 5 off the back of Timmy Hansen, so he's broken that toe. She's just dropping a little way back, needs to try and keep up with them as she possibly can. Look how much track width they're using here. They're coming in absolutely broadside. No steering angle, just super sideways.
Every time, he just looks so calm in the car.
It's brilliant, honestly, he's brilliant.
I can't get over it.
We've seen him asleep before, just before the start, literally sitting on the grid, having a little kip. He's one of those drivers who can just conserve energy and then switch it on when he needs to. Him and Ekstrom are 2 of the very best I've had the pleasure of commentating on. They have this extra capacity outside of driving a car on the absolute limit to think with total clarity about the tactics and the decision making, and they really are among the best of the best.
So the driver's switch is now taking place. One teammate jumping out, giving a bit of intel on what to expect on the track. Next driver in, quick clean of the windscreen as well, because of course the water is...
They're struggling with the belt, sorry.
No, of course, go for it.
That looked like slow out to me for Ekstrom. Is he going to come around and help on the other side, or...? It doesn't, you know what I mean? No, it doesn't look as quick. Look, you can see here, Munnings is strapped in and ready to go. And they were running behind them by some 5 seconds. So have Accio Nissan had a problem there? It didn't look to me like Ekstrom could get his belts undone. That's it. Now they've got it. They've got it done. It's a good switch in the end. The RXR car gets released from further back on the grid. So watch this coming out the switch zone now. And how close behind they are will give us an indication. They were 1.8 behind. Have they had a slow switch? No, they've done it. They pulled that back. When we went on board with Ekstrom, they were struggling to get the belts off, but they have pulled it back. So now we're in for a bit of a tear up on this last couple of laps.
Some gritted teeth there from Laia Sanz. Phenomenal driver in this championship. See her develop. She really seems at one with the car now.
5.7 seconds separate the top 4 teams as they head on to the last 2 laps. Arlen Kotlinski leads from Laia Sanz. Then got Amanda Sorensen and Katie Munnings, who are on board now with Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. As we chase the drone down, Sorensen in P3 trying to catch up to Laia Sanz to save, what is it now, 7.2. So Munnings maybe dropped a second back, needs to get a bit of a wiggle on, try and get on the back of this train of 4. Difficult, there's not so many places that you can make mistakes on this track. We said this earlier, didn't we, Nicky, that it's not as tricky as some of them have been. I think the holes are probably where you're going to see the biggest chance of somebody making a mistake, and things like this where it's wet and slippery in the braking zone. Sorensen coming in hot behind Laia Sanz.
So they've got an output of 550 brake horsepower at their fingertips, but a 1.9 2-ton beast to battle against.
Yeah, and that's the thing with weight transfer, when you're trying to stop these things, that instant torque, and when you talk about someone weighing 2 tons and doing 0-60 and 4, it's very impressive. And of course, the weight is there because these cars have huge batteries in, but also the suspension and the roll cages, which make them so capable of driving over this terrain. Their performance really is pretty outrageous. If you watch some of the onboards, they're a lot faster than you think they are, and that torque goes right the way up through the rev range. This is a great performance so far by RXR. Katie Munnings at 7.6, so she's staying in touch. The gaps, they're all pretty much static at the minute.
What's quite interesting is if it finished as it is at the moment, we would have the same podium as we did yesterday in round 5. So they're all clearly using that momentum today, and yeah, consistency, I suppose, has been absolutely key. RXR took the win yesterday. It was Acciona Sainz who was second, and Chip Ganassi Hummer Racing in third, which is what we're looking at again.
Laia Sands is under a second behind Arlen Kotlinski. Arlen Kotlinski with the visor down needs to get that focus on. She's on the last lap now. She's got just a few seconds to go. Look at Laia Sands. Her eyebrows are raised, her eyes are absolutely wide open, her teeth are gritted. She is after Arlen Kotlinski. They're at waypoint number 3. There's another 8 or 9 waypoints to go. We know there's a good passing opportunity at number 5 and at number 10. She'll try everything, but the minute she's hampered, she can't quite see where she's going. Munnings is coming towards the back of Sorensen as well. And Andreas Backer has closed the gap down by a couple of seconds for JBXC, but I don't think he's going to be able to get close enough. Katie Munnings has got her right in her sights. Look at that, how conservative Arlen Kotlinski is through the left-hander. She's waiting on the throttle, keeping it tight in on the apex behind her. Contrast that with Laia Sands, who is throwing the car around all over the road. Very different driving styles. Sands dropping back a little bit now. She was under a second behind. She's 1.4 off. This could be the battle for the last podium place. Katie Munnings is just 7/10 of a second behind Amanda Sorensen. The Andretti Alta Keelet machine trying to find a way past the GMC Hummer.
It's interesting to see Baccarat. He hasn't actually been able to close the gap as much as perhaps we were expecting.
Yeah, I think that thing of just there not being so many places to make a mistake on the course, and these guys haven't made any mistakes at all. It's been almost a perfect day for Rosberg X Racing. Arlen Kotlinski sweeps around the last corner. They've won all 3 races today, and they've won both rounds in Sardinia. Another win for RXR. Arlen Kotlinski and Christopherson take P1, P2. Acciona Sainz for Laia Sands. She got within an ace of it, but not quite. And Munnings has nicked it. Katie Munnings takes P3 somewhere just before the flag for Andretti Alta Keelet. She's got past the Hummer EV. Fantastic result for them to drag a podium out on that final lap. Brilliant.
Absolutely phenomenal result for Andretti. They really needed that. There's a very satisfied Katie Munnings.
Oh, it's lovely, Shan. It's been a really tough day for us. Really appreciate everything. That's fantastic, isn't it?
It really is. It really is, especially after, you know, they had a bit of disappointment yesterday. So to bring it back in the race today.
Arlen Kotlinski's emotional under that crash helmet. You can tell she's hidden the eyes, but the mouth isn't lying either. There's a bit of relief. Now comes the fist bumps and the grins. It's real this time. Yesterday, remember, they crossed the line under a bit of a cloud about whether or not how they'd done it. Were they under investigation? They weren't sure. This time, they've absolutely smashed it. They won both their qualifying races, and they win the final in some style. That there will be big celebrations immediately. The emotions for the team will be very different.
What a different race from yesterday, though. We had so much action.
On the radio back to the team, was she? Yeah.
Yeah, we had so much contact, so much action, so many parts of the body kit falling off, whereas today was the complete opposite. This felt more like it did in the quali stages yesterday. It was a really nice, clean wheel-to-wheel race.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where Katie managed to get past on that last lap, because she just, you know, at the start of the lap, she dropped maybe half a second back. And I said she needed to get a wiggle on. She did exactly that, closed it down and has found somewhere to get through.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this changes the championship lead. We may, well, actually, Acciona Sainz, yeah, it's going to close down. Exactly. I think Acciona Sainz may still have the edge on RXR, but it's definitely going to, yeah, close that gap.
She'll be looking for Johan and the rest of the team. There they are. Nico Rosberg, I'm sure, will be running up as well at the social career on it straight away. But big hugs for the mechanics immediately, the technicians, the tacticians behind the scenes, all the people that make it possible. Over the moon. Joe Ankia running in the background with our camera people, getting ready for the interviews. Fantastic performance. Pressure as well, wasn't there, from Laya Sands. Sands got close. You wonder, don't you, Farlin Kotlinski just thought, do you know what, I think I'll back it off now, we're bringing it home. It's like, don't back it off. She's right there. There she is. That's nice to see.
But as you mentioned, though, it was fascinating watching their driving styles. Yeah. Very, very different.
Yeah.
From both watching them in the cockpit and also the way they control the car from the outside.
There was a hug there between Sorensen and Katie Munnings as well. Good to see her say Munnings getting that pass on the last lap. And yeah, you're right. She was sideways everywhere, Laya Sands, and just trying everything on she could. There's Andreas Backerud. Here, this is the pass up at 12, so it was the last waypoint. Munnings got up the inside at the last waypoint. Literally, that is the left-hander before the finish line. Look at them, they couldn't be more side by side than that. Couple little bits of contact as they come up to the line. She's now got one wheel in front, that is it. Oh, look at her mouth, look at her mouth. Go on, Katie, get in. That's her sliding up the inside line. Now she's over the line and she knows she's done it. Big smiles, catches the car as she jumps on the brakes over the finish line. Brilliant.
Fantastic. And a big sigh of relief at the end as well. Oh, I cannot wait to hear her reaction. So in fact, let's hear from Katie Munnings now with Joe.
Well, Katie, what a thrilling finish. Andretti originally started towards the back and you nicked it right before the finishing line. Talk me through how you managed to do that.
Oh, you know, it's so hard out there, especially when you're kind of not in front because the visibility is so poor. You know, the mud splashes and bits of dust, and especially the bumps on the ground you can't see, so it's leaving a lot on the line. But I knew we needed to have a better result. We've got Michael here this weekend, and we've had really good pace. You know, we've been the fastest team on track sometimes, so I just needed to kind of deliver on that side. I'm really happy to get it done. It was intense in the last corner, and yeah, managed to just sneak up the inside and pull it off.
And the day you've had overall today, 2 P2s and then 3rd in the final, especially after that crash yesterday. How ecstatic. Tell me about the emotions you're feeling.
Oh, I'm so buzzing.
Oh, what a move. Nice.
I've learned from him. He's teaching me how to drive rallycross, so here we are.
Wow, you left it down to the wire, didn't you?
I wanted to keep you in a seat, Timmy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Timmy, Andretti, it started off near the back. We were wondering whether you could come through. What were your feelings as you were watching her go around?
Yeah, I had a second in the first corner when I thought I had the whole shot altogether. But I just went for the lead. I got the one tap from Ganassi, but then I still had it. But then a second hard push came from the inside and I was in the bushes. So then I chased as hard as I could to close the gap. And well, I guess it was just enough. So Katie was super fast after and she did it in the end. But it was great to have Michael here.
Michael, how proud are you of what they pulled off, especially that finish?
Really proud, especially to give it up here with her. You know, last turn, last lap. That's the way I love to see it.
You'll have to come to a few more races. Congratulations, guys.
Last turn, last lap, that's the way I like to see it. It says Michael Andretti, the legend, the Katie Munnings, who steals a podium at the final sector of the last race of the weekend. Brilliant. Podium getting themselves ready to go. Jo Ankia is down there. I think she's going to grab our second place finishes. Yeah, it is. Acciona Sainz.
Well, Laya, first of all, congratulations. Second place again. And you were trying to catch the winners, RXR. How do you feel that went? Are you happy with what you did?
Yeah, we are happy. We both were trying to catch, but then with the mud, it's quite impossible when you get too close to see. So at the end, I think it was a mega weekend. We were... our piece was really good and we were doing some good races, so we are happy, I think, overall.
We saw that focus in your face there. And Matthias, I will let you know that there's confirmation that you are leading the championship now. So how does it feel to come away from Sardinia with such great results?
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. For sure, you always want to win, but turn one here was a bit exciting. This time we didn't really manage. Even second place, sometime you have to be happy with. Laya drove a very good weekend, the team did a good job, and we will come back stronger as well. But we're happy with the weekend in general.
Top of the standings. You can't do much better than that. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, this way, please.
They so desperately want to win, don't they? They so desperately want to win. So podium celebrations coming up. 2 P2s for Acciona Science this weekend. Yeah, okay, you wanted the win, but still, it's leading the standings, really consistent performance right at the very front. This is the start look. Timmy reckoned he got it, and he's saying, look, I got 2 big hits from Hummer. What he can't see is that I think Hummer were getting squeezed from the other side. I still can't get over how Johan came from giving up the start and dropping it to 4th. Here, look, he's in 4th. He goes to the right-hand side, he goes, thank you very much, I'll just exit stage right, and he passes. It's not wide enough.
Pushed off into the bushes.
Mad, isn't it? He's like, I went there yesterday,
Yeah,
you crack on, you crack on, go over there in the
t-shirt.
bushes, I'm going to come through. He's just, yeah, just brilliant. This was out the switch zone, so close between the 4 cars, and then those gaps looked pretty maintained. It was kind of 2-second gaps between each of the drivers. And Katie at this point, look how far back Katie Munnings is at this point, but she just chipped away at that lead for Sorensen. And then in the very final corner, that left-hander managed to get through, and it was great.
Look at the speed she's carrying in there as well.
Yeah, this was Laia Sands, wasn't it, as well? So you got Katie attacking. I think the 2 attacks came at the same time. There it is, look, last corner. Sorensen nearly got back at her, but they've kept it lit. She's just managed, there's that tiny king. Okay, so yeah, she was inside her just at the previous one. So I think she's been inside. It's like a double left. Amazing. RXR taking the win then from Acciona Science. Andretti Altequila stealing that final place on the podium. GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing at the very end of the final. Okay, Joe Ankier is going to grab our winners down at the podium. And yeah, it's going to be Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski and Johan Kristoffersson.
Well, Michaela, RXR winning all 3 races on this one day. What a perfect day.
Yeah, perfect, absolutely. And the team deserves it so much. I mean, working so hard on the car, and all the guys and girls have been amazing. So I'm just so grateful to bring home the win.
And Johan, you had P4 off the start. You somehow went from the back into the front. Talk us how you did it.
Yeah, I just tried to back out of it, and then I saw the opportunity, so I did it. And then I had Matthias right in the rearview mirror the whole race, but I had a good look on some of the corners, so I managed to bring the car to Michaela, and so happy for the team, and well done everybody in the team.
Okay, your car came out one piece, but our sign didn't. Thank you very much for breaking that. Nico, I mean, what a perfect day. You're going to have to come here more often. How do you feel emotions on what they achieved?
Super awesome, and it was so thrilling, and Michaela and Johan did such a great job, but it was like really intense, because at the start I thought, oh, this is lost, and then it all opened up, you know, it was amazing. And then also Michaela, in the end, there was big pressure from Laia, you know, who was pushing like crazy, but massively held it together, which was, super happy.
All smiles over here. I'll let you get to the podium. Congratulations.
Oh, fantastic result for them. So Kristoffersson there, not just putting dents in cars, but breaking signs as well by the looks of it. Let's take a look at the grand final results. So JBXE, who managed to actually get through to the grand final, unfortunately finished in P5. Then, of course, we had Sorensen in P4, then Andretti in P3, and it was a fantastic battle between Acciona Science and RXR, but it's Kristoffersson and Arlen Kotlinski who took the win today for round 6 in Sardinia. 4 out of 5 races in Sardinia, phenomenal achievement. So let's look at the team's standings at the moment. 109 points, just 4 points in it between Acciona Science and RXR Racing. A 10-point gap with Veloce Racing behind GMC Hummer EV in 4th in the championship, with X44 Vida Carbon Racing on 59 points. Another 4-point gap between them and Andretti Altequila, with Neon McLaren and Abt Cupra down there in the 40s. Carl Cox Motorsports still looking for some extra points on the board, joint there with JBXE in P10. So let's take a look at the podium celebrations. I'm sure this is going to be a good one. A moment to
Island X-Prix
take it all in, look back
Sardinia,
at what has
Italy.
been achieved over the course of the weekend.
Welcoming our podium finishers to the stage. In 3rd place, Andretti Altequila. In 2nd place, Acciona Science XE team. And our winning team and team principal, Rosberg X Racing. for the winning team's national anthem. Now, please be upstanding.
Second win of the season for Rosberg X Racing. It's actually the 7th win for them as a team. They're firmly at the top of that list. Kristoffersen now on 7 wins. Arlen Kotlinski moves up to 4. Of course, his first season was with Molly Taylor, who's still actually second on the overall list with 5 wins, thanks to her work with Veloce this year. But just brilliant, consistent performances at the very top of their game from RXR. They're back where we expect them to be, really, now, Nikki. And they're just 4 points, I think, off the championship leaders of Acciona Science. How your fortunes can change in a weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, they are really building on some momentum over the course of their performance here in Sardinia. Of course, we do have now a bit of a gap between this race weekend and our next one when we head to South America. So will they be able to carry that momentum into a place where, well, the conditions are going to be completely different? But they're clearly very well cemented, working really well together as a team and getting the best performance out of their car.
Yeah, they really are. Fantastic job by them. Trophies there for Ekstrom and Sands. So championship leaders 4 points ahead. They came here 11 points back from Veloce, and they leave here 4 points ahead of RXR. I think they're about 15 points ahead of Veloce. And again, you know, we said, didn't we, this is the halfway point in the season. Anything can happen in the second half, and it really has.
Exactly. And, you know, we've got to say a massive congrats, you know, not just for winning this race, but over the course of the weekend in Sardinia, they've won 4 of their races.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's 4 out of 6. 3 today. Champagne time. Munnings and Hansen as well. How pleased will they be to be on the podium? They weren't on the podium until about 150 metres before the finish line. Amazing performances by Andretti Altekilit for P3. Acciona Science with a double P2 this weekend. Rosberg X Racing with 2 wins from 2 events, and they're right back in the championship fight. Nico Rosberg here today. We asked him, didn't we, earlier on, were you watching yesterday? Of course I was watching. I'm always watching.
I think he was insulted at that point.
I think he was too, yeah. I think I upset him. I'm afraid. Only a little bit. He had a big smile on his face when he said it, didn't he?
But it's great, though, that he is so involved. You know, he is very much hands-on team owner. He comes as often as he can, which is more so than quite a few others. And,
selfie time on the podium.
Always. Get it on the social. He's great, actually, on his social content. This will be straight up on Instagram.
You know what you're struggling with there, don't you? It's very hard to operate a phone, isn't it, when your hands are covered in champagne? Touch screens you just don't work. You ever tried to use your phone when your hands are wet? It's just a nightmare. So, yeah, he managed to do it. Use the old side button trick. Good lad. Rest of the team coming up to join him. Good stuff.
Well, it has been an intense week for these guys, you know, always battling it against such hard conditions. It's so hot, it's so humid out there. They really have to hit the ground running. They've been here for a couple of times before, but still, it's relatively new. You've got to get your head around so much new information, get the car back on track. Let's take a look at that grand final start.
Watch Kristoffersen. He gives the start up, drops into P4. He's in 4th. They're all side by side. It's a bit of argy-bargy. 2 cars go off the side of the road. Thank you very much. He sneaks up the inside of Ekstrom as well. We're going to see his onboard in a moment, and I can't wait to see it. We saw a little bit of it earlier on. That's the car jumping out. Here you go. So look, he knows I'm going to get squeezed where I went yesterday. Not having that. I'll drop in. Thank you. 3 cars wide. Look, they're all touching each other. That's why Hansen got off to the side. And actually, when they release, Ekstrom runs wide because Ekstrom was leaning on them. When the cars go away, he's got nothing to lean on. He ran half a car wide. Kristoffersen went up the inside. Very opportunistic, but really clean. brilliant.
Exactly. Reading the race so well there, you know, predicting what was going to happen and just took full advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, and full advantage of this opportunity. Katie Munnings up the inside of Amanda Sorensen. There was a little hug between them at the end of the race. Sorensen would be really annoyed that she managed to get her, and obviously Katie overjoyed that she did, but that's what this is all about. Building up those rivalries as well in this series has been great fun. Look, that's it, with a big smile on her face, because you just know you've just stolen the podium. It's fourth or third. It's a huge difference. Standing on the podium covered in champagne or not, and she's on the podium with Timmy. Over the moon. Great drive. Timmy was so pleased for her too, wasn't he? And Michael Andretti too. When your team boss is there, Michael Andretti, and you nick a podium, great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for Michael Andretti to say that you took the P3 at just the right moment, the last corner in the last lap, that's always nice to hear from such a motorsport legend.
There we go. Nico, like, can you give us a reaction? He's like, yeah, let me just scream into the camera for you. I'm feeling pretty happy.
That's what you can do when you're a Formula 1 world champ.
Acciona Sainz still leading the championship, so they're taking their podium pictures as well, right up at the top. It's been a fantastic year for them, hasn't it? I say they had a win in Saudi, they had a P2 in Saudi, they've had 2 P2s here in Sardinia. They won the Continental Traction Challenge yesterday. They're very much on form, and I can't wait to see them versus RXR in the remaining 4 races this season. Could be incredible.
Yeah, they're doing really well in their qualifying heats as well, and I think that is massively playing into the fact that they are now leading the championship. Just 4 points ahead of RXR. It's tight. It's really, really tight. How exciting is that?
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this weekend. Ireland X Prix winners twice, RXR. My thanks to Nikki Shields and Joanne here. I'm Andrew Coley. We thank you all very much for being with us. It's going to be an incredible end to the season, so make sure you join us. See you soon. McConnell threw the branding over the grass. Scheider going to try and hold him off. Oh, Kevin's through. Laia Sands looks to the inside. Block up the inside of Sorensen. Hozzel's getting aggressive on Scheider. And Christopherson comes from the back of the pack to the lead. Another win for RXR.
Like to drive now.